Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Everyday Speaking Podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Sarah. We're so happy you're joining us today. This is the podcast that helps you speak English more confidently in your daily life.
That's right. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a very common and very important topic, your daily routine.
Exactly. This is something you need to talk about all the time, whether you're making small talk with a coworker, having an interview, or just meeting new friends.
So, we want to help you do it correctly and naturally. By the end of this episode, you will be able to describe your day from morning to night.
You'll also learn how to use the present simple tense for routines, and you'll master important vocabulary like adverbs of frequency, words like always, usually, and sometimes.
Ready to get started? First, just listen to our conversation. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. The goal is just to listen to how the language is used.
Let's dive in. So, John, you always seem so full of energy in the mornings. How does your day usually begin?
Well, thank you, Sarah. I try. My alarm clock goes off at 6:30 a.m. I'm not a morning person, so I usually hit the snooze button at least twice.
Oh, I do that too. It's so hard to get up immediately. So, what happens after you finally get out of bed?
The first thing I do is head straight to the kitchen to make a strong cup of coffee. I can't really function without it. While the coffee is brewing, I quickly check the news on my phone.
Coffee is essential. Do you eat a big breakfast?
Not really, not on weekdays. I usually just have a bowl of cereal or some toast. It's quick and easy. After that, I take a shower, get dressed, and I'm out the door by about 7:45 a.m. What about your morning routine, Sarah? Is it similar?
It's quite different, actually. I'm an early bird. I always wake up around 5:30 a.m., even on weekends. I don't need an alarm.
Wow, 5:30? I'm impressed. What do you do so early?
Well, the first thing I do is drink a large glass of water. Then I often do about 30 minutes of yoga or go for a quick jog in the park if the weather's nice. It helps me wake up and feel focused.
That sounds incredibly healthy. I should probably try that.
It makes a big difference. After exercising, I take a shower and get ready. Then I make a proper breakfast, usually oatmeal with fruit or scrambled eggs. I like to sit down and eat without rushing.
That makes sense. So let's talk about the workday. I drive to the office, and the commute usually takes about 45 minutes because of traffic. I start work at 9 a.m. sharp.
And what's a typical day at the office like for you?
It's always busy. In the morning, I check my emails and make a to-do list for the day. I often have 2 or 3 meetings before lunch. I usually eat lunch at my desk around 1 p.m. to save time.
Lunch at your desk. I try to avoid that. I work from home, so my day is a bit more flexible. I also start at 9 a.m., but my commute is just walking to my home office.
That's the dream. What does your work involve?
I'm a graphic designer, so I spend most of my day working on projects for clients. I have a lot of video calls. But because I'm home, I sometimes take short breaks to do some laundry or prepare dinner ingredients.
That's a nice benefit. When do you typically finish work?
I usually finish around 5:30 p.m. Then I make sure to shut down my computer and leave my office space. It's important to separate work from personal time.
The first thing I do is change out of my work clothes. Then I cook dinner. I enjoy cooking. It helps me relax. My wife and I eat dinner together around 7 p.m. After dinner, we often watch a TV series or a movie.
That sounds like a nice, relaxing evening. My evenings are a bit more varied. 3 times a week, I go to the gym after work. On other days, I cook a nice meal and then read a book or practice Spanish on a nap.
You practice Spanish? That's great. I rarely have the energy for something like that after work.
Well, I find it relaxing. And then before bed, I always try to stay off my phone. I usually read for about 20 minutes. I try to be in bed by 10:30 p.m.
That's a good goal. I normally go to bed around 11 or 11:30 p.m. I know I should go earlier, but I sometimes get caught up watching just one more episode.
We've all been there. It's interesting how different our routines are, even though we do similar things.
Speaking of different, I bet our weekend routines are quite different too. My weekdays are so structured. I try to be more spontaneous on weekends. It is. And that conversation was a perfect example of how to talk about daily routines. Now let's break down the grammar we used.
Great idea, John. The most important grammar point here is the present simple tense. We use it to talk about habits, routines, and things that are generally true.
Exactly. Let's look at the structure. For I, you, we, and they, it's very easy. You just use the base form of the verb. For example, I start work at 9, or they eat dinner together.
Right. But for he, she, and it, we need to remember to add an S or ES to the verb. This is a very common mistake for learners, so it's important to practice.
It is. For example, I said, my alarm clock goes off at 6:30. My alarm clock is an it, so we say goes, not go.
Another example, I cook dinner. But if I talk about my brother, I say he cooks dinner. We add the S.
Let's give a few more examples. She works from home. He drives to the office. It takes 45 minutes. In all these cases, we add the S.
So to summarize, use the present simple for your daily habits. Remember the S for he, she, and it. It's that simple.
Now let's move on to some key vocabulary that makes your sentences sound much more natural. We're talking about adverbs of frequency.
These words tell us how often we do something. They're super useful. Think of them on a scale. At the top, 100%, you have always.
For example, Sarah said, I always wake up around 5:30 a.m. This means she does it every single day.
Next down the scale, maybe at 90%, is usually. This means you do it most of the time. For example, I usually have a bowl of cereal for breakfast. Maybe one day a week I have something different.
Then we have often, maybe 70%. For example, we often watch a TV series after dinner. We do it many times a week.
In the middle, at 50%, is sometimes. I sometimes take short breaks. Not always, not never, just sometimes.
Then we get to the less frequent ones. We have rarely, which is maybe only 10% of the time. I said, I rarely have the energy to study after work. It means it almost never happens.
And finally, at 0%, we have never. I never drink coffee at night. One important rule is where to put these words in a sentence. They usually go before the main verb.
That's a key point. So we say, I usually hit the snooze button, not I hit usually.
Exactly. But there is one exception. With the verb to be, am, is, are, the adverb comes after. For example, I am always tired in the morning, or she is never late for work.
And don't forget other time expressions. Phrases like in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, on weekdays, and on weekends are also very important for adding detail. For example, on weekdays, I go to bed early.
Okay, now that we've covered the grammar and vocabulary, it's time for you to practice. This is the most important part. You need to speak.
That's right. We're going to say some sentences from our conversation. We want you to listen carefully and then repeat them out loud. Ready? Repeat after Sarah.
My alarm clock goes off at 6:30. I usually hit the snooze button. She often does yoga in the morning. He rarely eats a big breakfast. We sometimes watch a movie at night.
Excellent work. Hearing your own voice is a powerful way to improve. Now, let's make it more interactive. Sarah is going to ask you some questions about your daily routine. Please answer them out loud.
Okay, ready? First question. What time do you usually wake up? Next question. What is the first thing you do in the morning? And another. How often do you exercise? Last one. What do you do to relax in the evening?
Fantastic job. Even if you only said a short sentence, you are building the skills and confidence you need to speak English well.
You did amazing today. Let's quickly review. We learned how to talk about our daily routines using the present simple tense. Remember to add that S for he, she, and it.
We also learned very useful adverbs of frequency, like always, usually, sometimes, and never, and where to place them in a sentence.
Practice is everything, so your homework is to describe your daily routine. You can write it down or, even better, record yourself speaking.
And if you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please show your support. You can like this video, subscribe to our channel, the Everyday Speaking Podcast.
And for extra practice, write a few sentences about your daily routine in the comments below. We love reading them, and it helps other learners to see your examples.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.